Hello and welcome to the Clashing of Steel. Today I'm doing tactical errors. I'm counting our team mistakes, which are up on the left, and the enemy team's mistakes, which are up on the right. Tactical errors might be, well, any sort of error practically. It doesn't have to be fatal, it doesn't even have to make damage, but tactically a wrong move, standing in a wrong location, and so on. So down south here we can see that there are only riders. There are at the watchtowers, so perhaps a defensive tactic would be in order there. Now on to the forest. So barbarians in the forest. Well, not exactly, between the forests. Not exactly a great move considering that barbarians get bonuses in the forest. So the first enemy mistake. Seeing as they threw the scorched earth, I see the second mistake here as well. Okay, at least he's moving into the forest, away from the archers. Maybe he covered the flank, it is questionable. But I'm going to give a mistake point to my team as well, because there were Roman swordsmen in the forest, while there should have been actually barbarians. So there's a lot of action going on, a lot of swordsmen, a lot of killing. Okay, here's another mistake from my team. Spearmen who deployed themselves and are forcing through the opponent. Perhaps not the greatest mistake, but it will be extremely costly. What else do I see here? So, barbarians retreating from the forest seeing as they are attacked. Actually, not a bad tactic, not a bad choice, considering they had no chance. Now, archers are changing fire. And we have here Leonidas trying to chase down archers. That's all great, turning on some pressure, giving our archers a chance to fight against them. But for our surprise, he activates the fight in the shade, while he was so close to them. A mistake. He should have pressured the opponent, forced them to run even further, and now he's running with his back and blocking arrows from my direction. I consider that also a minus point, fighting in the shades and running away from the enemy. Now we have some riders who have infiltrated behind our lines and yet have not affected our fighting units over there. So another mistake for the opponents. Now I'm moving to defend the watchtower and there are 3 troops just waiting here for nothing. Not defending, just nothing. So another mistake from my team. So back to the forest. You can see these barbarians just massing inside each other's units and trying to force each other out. Mistake for both teams. So here we can see riders fighting in the forest and their charge is practically useless there. But since they have flanking effectiveness, I'm not going to give a mistake point. If it would have been barbarian cavalry, they would have been utterly useless, in which I would have given. Those were Romans. Now I am defending here. This is a extremely nasty place. Just to avoid getting swarmed by the enemy, I'm going to move a bit forward and try and engage them. But unfortunately the form combat doesn't work as I wish it would. So here, perhaps not my mistake, but if we take a look back, we can see this guy just AFKing around with 3 units inside one another, even without the slightest idea of helping me. I actually drew an arrow for him to come and help, but yeah, the arrow can't be seen on the replay and he's, well, not so great at it. So here we have pretty much finished everything off. I'm gonna leave this place be for a while. And okay, I'm getting flanked. And this guy is coming finally to help, but he's charging 3 units inside one another while taking archer fire and not spreading out. So another mistake for my team. Now that he's engaged, he could actually somewhat help me if he would like move the rear units a bit differently. I'm trying to hold that area as best as I can. One of my units routed and I'm trying to just... And thanks a lot for disengaging. Now you're taking even more and more lethal archer fire, and I consider that as a mistake that you didn't spread your units out. So another mistake for my team. While all the mistakes aren't lethal, you can see that we are still on the lead with making more mistakes. But without many of these mistakes we would have had a lot better score for this point. So back to the action. I'm trying to regroup my units. I'm actually trying to hold them back there, stop them from capping. perhaps a fool's tactic, but at least this way I'm holding them at bay. I can see some friendly troops joining in, and perhaps I have bought enough time for them to set up the defenses. So I'm thinking about sending this guy in as well. Perhaps not the wisest move considering I got surprised. So I guess we can consider it a mistake that I did not retreat and pull back, but okay, let's consider it a mistake. Here we can see the swordsman getting swarmed by my teammates. They tried to come in from behind, but it wasn't wisest of moves because we overwhelmed them there. And he just went to his suicide, which I consider a mistake. Kinda like I did here. Now there's a lot of action going on. I have probably held the enemy at bay. I'm trying to fight these guys back there, hoping that I have a chance, but for my surprise the riders... Okay, unexpected circumstance, so getting swarmed. Perhaps I should have retreated, but yeah, I hadn't many men left. So this lonesome guy here tried to force through and chase some archers, but failed, and moving 3 troops inside one another once again to fight and to chase archers, another mistake point for my team. So the fight is going on. I have forgotten about my swordsman for a brief moment there, seeing what I can do, and suddenly when I notice, I'm going for escape. So this guy is still trying to maneuver back and forth. Not the wisest of moves, but I'm not sure if we should consider that a mistake because that guy is, well, full of them. So now the archers are moving up there while the riders are doing their group. That is a tactical mistake, seeing as the riders will now go after them and the archers are lost. I consider that a mistake. But now back to my units. You can see some action down here, and my units are running around this building, kiting 3 opponents' units inside each other, which I consider a mistake for the opponent's team, and I'm gonna add another point because they swarmed me up there on the hill with 3 units from behind as well, which I unfortunately forgot about, so 2 minus points. And I'm guessing you can see this one coming, all 3 units inside a pike phalanx, and this pikeman isn't making a mistake, he's moving forwards and backwards, thus for killing more opponents. So another minus point for the enemy for being ignorant and going into the pikeman. Okay, so I'm defending the rear, the archers are firing. I don't consider the archer fire a mistake because the pikes actually can hold the enemy quite far at bay. And this turns the game around once again. So there are still some archers left, some swordsmen, and few others. The pikes are finishing off these guys. Their riders are coming in towards our men, and those swordsmen are going for the kill. And another minus point for the enemy, 3 units once again each eyed one another and charged into the enemy. And here we're getting another mistakes. 3 rider units inside one another, and they ignored me while they could have helped kill the pikemen and help the swordsmen. But then again they chose the priority target, so I'm only going to give 1 mistake point. But I'm going to give a mistake point for the opponents because they were all massing into this one single area into our units. And also a minus point or a mistake point for my team for massing these units into this pile here as well. So now the battle is pretty much over. The riders are the strongest units, the archers are escaping. The pikemen are already scaring the riders away. And the riders not being able to react to it as fast as I was hoping, get a mistake point and some damage. Now they react, and I ain't gonna give a minus point for the pikes not deploying because they would have killed a lot of teammates considering my units. Now the battle is almost over, the biggest mistakes are done, and as you can see, they're pretty much equal. Both teams made mistakes. Mistakes might not always be balanced. Some might get punished harsh, some might not get punished at all. It's just a point of view. The main focus here was to show that both teams make mistakes, almost equal. Of course there are matches where you overrun the enemy with 1500 men. but this was kind of the average match I won, where the teams went to the end pretty much balanced. In the end, the smarter players will probably bring you the victory. Just note that these mistakes were just considered by me. The players who made these mistakes might have had other plans, other ideas. So these were just the typical or the regular mistakes that I noted here. So don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.